brought you flowers, held your hand, should I give you all my hours? Well, we could talk about guitar gear, but let's talk song. I already announced that I was going to do a Let's Talk song on Bruno Mars's When I Was Your Man. I did this when analyzing Flowers by Miley Cyrus because it has got so many quotations and direct references to Bruno Mars's song. And when I started working on the song, I was very, very amazed by all these little twists that make this a very mind-blowing pop song with so many interesting elements that we are going to look at. Starting with the intro that is already a statement. I'm playing it like this in the cover version. It's a 2 minor 5-1. It's D minor, G, C major. This is a direct reference to jazz music. It's the jazz cadence. It's the jazz chord progression. It's the 2 minor 5-1 that everybody learns about when learning about jazz. Bruno Mars does that to call the listener's attention to the fact that not a very usual pop song is about to come up. 2 minor 5-1, 2 minor 5-1 for the intro. This is a statement. Verse. What have we got here? We have got A minor, 6 minor, C major 1, D minor, 2 minor, 5 major, even played with a 7 in the second half of the bar, which is of course the 5 in the C major scale, C major, E minor with B and bass. Very cool. We see where Miley Cyrus gets the idea to use the drop of fifth sequence. This is also the drop of fifth sequence, only dressed up in a very fancy way. So we've got 6 minor 1, 1 being kind of the variation of the 6 minor in the second half of the measure. Then we've got 2 minor for a measure, 5 for a measure, even with elements of 5-7. Not very poppy, but very cool. Then we've got C major, that with this E minor over B in the second half of the measure gets additional interest and attractiveness. This is intelligent songwriting at its best. Melody. We have got E as the rock solid note, to F, D as the rock solid note, to E. So we haven't got a lot of range in terms of melody, and we have got one melodic and rhythmic pattern that gets twisted and messed with, so that we have E, F, and D, E as the rock-solid foundations of this melody line. Let's look at it once again. So this is the first motif, if you will, the first phrase. And then we've got... This is a variation of that same motif with E going to F, D going to E as the 2 rock-solid notes within the motif. It's very, very intelligent songwriting, and also outlining the chords. Remember that in Flowers we talked about the drop of fifth sequence as perfectly suitable in order to line out the chords within your melody. Here is another example of how you do this. Transitional bridge goes like this. My heart lights up every time that this B flat major comes up. Let's look at the chords. A minor, 6 minor, E minor, really cool, 3 minor, and then B flat major, which when looked at from the perspective of the C major scale is the flat 7 major chord. Something that you can do when using modal interchange, so when borrowing from other modes of C, like for example Aeolian or Dorian, yes, and it's something that just adds a lot of intellectual stuff to your songwriting. How cool is that, Mr. Mars? Last measure is then this. Also very cool, we've got C major over G, that then resolves to G major, the dominant chord, the 5, that curiously does not dominate towards the 1 because the chorus does not start on the 1. Still, we have got a lot of tension. Let's repeat. A minor, 6 minor, E minor, 3 minor, B flat major, so flat 7 major, and then this C over G going to G major that usually dominates towards C major, that is the dominant chord in the C major scale, but does not go to a 1 in the chorus because the chorus starts on a 4. Let's look at the melody of the transitional bridge first. And again, I keep forgetting this. The verse starts on the one end of the bar. So when we count it like this, which I think is a pretty smart thing to do, so half time if you will, then the start of the melody is on the one end. Same bad but it feels the same. Same bad but it feels just a little bit. Okay, this is important because the transitional bridge gets introduced within the verse. These are the notes that are already a pickup for the transitional bridge. It all just sounds like. Over this E minor chord with B in bass, that is the last chord of the verse. So we've got. And then the primary bridge actually starts with this. This is a challenge to sing. What notes have we got? Let's see if the camera even gets this high C on the keyboard. Yes, we can barely see it. So remember? We've got a minor 9th step. This would be the octave from B to B, and we've got a flat 9. Too young, too dumb to realize. So, rock solid notes in the second half is B and C. Too young, too dumb to realize. And then we've got the chorus. Let's look at the chords for the chorus first. We've got F major, G major, C major. 4, 5, 1. Repeats. 4, 5, 1. Now we've got 4, 5, 6 minor and smile chord. D major. 4, 5, 6 minor and 2 major. So again, we have got modal interchange, this time probably taken from C Lydian, okay, where D is the second stage in major. And then we've got F minor. How great is that? And C major, something that I like doing a lot as well. F major to F minor, 4 to 4 minor, and then back to the 1. Again, modal interchange in play, and I'm not getting into the details too much. It could be borrowed from C Aeolian, where the 4th degree would be a minor chord. Really, really impressive. Let's look at the melody. Hope she buys you flowers. This is the 6 of F major. Flowers. Rock solid note on the E. So we've got flowers. Fancy notes. Landing on the E. So this is a motif that repeats. And I had the chance. This is very loose in terms of melodic liberty. Take you to every party, 'cause all you wanted to do was dance. Now my baby's dancing, but she's dancing with another man. Then perfectly resolved towards the C major chord and the 1 in the melody. It's a great chorus. It's of course a show-off chorus that only amazing singers such as Bruno Mars can actually pull off. But in terms of outlining the chords and adding interesting bits like this D melody note over the F chord, it's very, very cool and something worth noticing. The interlude is also really interesting, although the chord change only appears once in the whole song. So we come from the chorus. 4 to 1. This is something that is called the plagal cadence or something like this. I will make sure to have it here. I think a 4-1 is called the plagal cadence, something taken from gospel music, of course, a genre, a musical style that has influenced Bruno Mars a lot. Verse number 2 offers variation in terms of melody. My selfish way. We know that. 'Cause a good strong woman like you to walk out my life. Now I never baby. And it haunts me every time I close my eyes. So, what we have here is something that a lot of people do. Verses number 2 can be a bitch to write. Because you have established a metric rhythm, in verse number 1 you have established a rhyming pattern. We are going to look at rhyming patterns at the end of the analysis when we look at lyrics. But now the challenge is to do everything you have established in the second verse as well. Unless you are an amazing singer and just do some ad-lib vocal stuff and make everybody forget about the metric rhythm and the rhyming pattern that you have established. It's okay to do that, because verse number 2 can offer variation in terms of melody, which Bruno Mars does, and suddenly nobody cares about verse number 1. Verse number 2, in terms of lyrics, I think, doesn't really offer a booster line, one line that says, wow, this is lifting everything to a whole new level. He doesn't need booster lines. He just turns on genius and does verse number 2 in an ad-libby melody that blows away everything. Good job, sir. Transitional bridge number 2 is the same, I believe, as transitional bridge number 1, and chorus number 2 is the same as chorus number 1. Then, and thank you, Mr. Mars, for including that, we have got a very, very, very traditional primary bridge, if you will. Nowadays in pop music, and this is something that is 10 years old already, I can accept this, but apparently also 10 years ago, there were a lot of lazy people amongst songwriters. People who said, well, I've done verse, I've done maybe transitional bridge, maybe not even that, I've done chorus, and let the C part be a vocal distorted loop in the style of Justin Bieber. And the song is finished. No, Bruno Mars sits down at the piano and writes a primary bridge that is worthy of the complete song. Let's look at the chords. The chords of the P bridge go like this. Let's dissect this for a second. We have got F major, this time played throughout the measure, not as in the chorus where we only have it for half the measure. F major throughout the whole measure. G major, 4/5, 2/1, 5 over B, 6 minor, 3 minor over G. And from there, I don't think that they do this. They don't do the chromatic bass movement down, but they do D major to D minor. I've never seen this before. And then G major, dominant chord, for 2 measures. That is again tension at its best, tension and suspense, the 2 main jobs of dominant chords at its best. And put into practice quite nicely. Again, dominating towards the chorus that does not start on the 1 but on the 4, but still the dominating effect is very impressive. In terms of melody, he introduces a completely new idea. The completely new idea is this. Though it hurts, I'll be the first to say I was wrong. Probably high C again. It's a little staircase that he falls down. The beginning of the melody is though it hurts. Little staircase. And then we've got oh, I'm probably much too late. So we've got even D major 7. Oh, I'm probably much too late. But I just want you to know, Ad-libby thing on the 5. Hope she buys the flowers. He buys a flower. Then we've got the last chorus that is played in a very nostalgic way, one might say. The lyrics change, which we are going to look at in a minute. And in terms of form, there is one tiny addition at the end of the chorus that we are going to look at before diving into lyric analysis. Remember that in the first 2 choruses, the ending was now my baby's dancing, but she's dancing with another man. And not only does the melody change, but also we add additional bars here, or 1 to be precise, 2 actually. Do all the things I should have done when I was your man. Again the D major, and repeat this. Do all the things I should have done when I was your man. Do all the things I should have done when I was your man. As a kind of nostalgic repetition of the sadness within the song, because apparently a man lost a woman. Let's look at the lyrics. Verse. Same bed, but it feels just a little bit bigger now. a lot of B's. I like the fact that he looks at the words that he uses and makes sure that they fit quite nicely with each other. He chose the alliteration world of B. Same bed, but it feels just a little bit bigger now. This is songwriting. Our song on the radio, but it don't sound the same. It should be it doesn't, but this is something that a lot of people have done before Bruno Mars and will do after Bruno Mars. They don't care about doesn't when it doesn't fit metric rhythm. If we stop here, we haven't got any feeling of resolution in terms of the lyrics. And this is because of the rhyming pattern, because it's an A-B-A-B rhyming pattern. And so far we've only heard lines A and B, the first ones. So same bed, but it feels just a little bit bigger now. Our song on the radio, but it don't sound the same. This only makes sense when we look at the following two lines. When our friends talk about you, all it does is just tear me down. Yes, all it does is just tear me down. I think I sang something else in the verse, in the cover version. Never mind. When our friends talk about you, all it does is just tear me down. So here we have got the rhyming line with the first one. 'Cause my heart breaks a little when I hear your name. Thereby rhyming same and name. And only then have we got resolution in terms of the verse. The verse lines are very long. Same bed, but it feels just a little bit bigger now. Our song on the radio, but it don't sound the same. When our friends talk about you, all it does is just tear me down. 'Cause my heart breaks a little when I hear your name. Very, very long lines. In terms of lyrics, the transitional bridge goes back to the verse and this radio image and says it all just sounds like woo. So this is what the singer or the narrator, if you will, hears when he listens to the radio. It all just sounds the same. Songs don't make any sense anymore because I'm super sad. And then of course also in the transitional bridge, the singer starts regretting. Oh, too young, too dumb to realize. Introducing the lines that come in the chorus. So in terms of rhyming pattern and stuff, there is nothing in the T-bridge because all the T-bridge does is revisit a theme from the verse, which is the radio songs, and then builds up towards the chorus, which now just mentions everything that the singer should have done in order to keep his woman. That is, I should have bought you flowers and held your hand. Should have gave you all my hours, the English teacher in me revolts. When he had the chance, take you to every party, 'cause all you wanted to do was dance. Now my baby's dancing, but she's dancing with another man. The rhyming pattern is quite interesting. Because in my opinion, we have got an A-B, A-B, X-B, X-B rhyming pattern. I should have bought you flowers, A rhyme, and held your hand, B rhyme. Should have gave you all my hours, A rhyme, when I had the chance, B rhyme. Take you to every party, nothing rhyme, 'cause all you wanted to do was dance, re-rhyming with the B lines. Now my baby's dancing. Not rhyming with anything, but she's dancing with another man. You could also argue that we've got A-B, A-B, and B-B, only with longer lines. The longer line would then be, take you to every party because all you wanted to do was dance. Now my baby's dancing, but she's dancing with another man. This is up for interpretation. Verse number 2, although it takes its liberties in terms of melody line and melodic rhythm, the rhyming pattern stays the same. We have got the repetition of this A-B-A-B rhyming pattern from verse number 1. My pride, my ego, my need, and my selfish ways. I'd already declare this a booster line because it's a very nice list of things that stood in the singer's way. Caused a good strong woman like you to walk out my life. Now I never get to clean up the mess I made. And that haunts me every time I close my eyes. So what we see here is that you can add rhythmic and melodic variation, but it's a good idea to keep at least the rhyming pattern to make the two verses kind of related to each other. Transitional bridge doesn't change in terms of words, but with the verse before gets a different meaning although the words don't change. Because remember that in verse 1 we talked about the radio and all the songs on the radio sound like woo. Now it all just sounds like woo. Looks back at verse number 2, and verse number 2 says, and it haunts me every time I close my eyes. So suddenly this becomes a haunting sound of ghosts, of nightmare creatures, whatever, but change the meaning totally of bridge number 2. Chorus number 2 is just the same. I should have bought you flowers and so on and so forth. And then we've got the primary bridge. And the primary bridge is the last desperate try of the singer to go and apologize to the girl. Although it hurts, I'll be the first rhyme to say I was wrong. Oh, I'm probably much too late to try and apologize for my mistakes. Everything speeds up. Oh, I know I'm probably much too late to try and apologize for my mistakes, but I just want you to know. And now the last chorus is a bittersweet ending, because although she's dancing with another man, he in a way wishes her all the best. I hope he buys you flowers. I hope he holds your hand, give you all his hours. When he has the chance, take you to every party, 'cause I remember how much you loved to dance. Do all the things I should have done when I was your man. Do all the things I should have done, nostalgic repetition of the last line, when I was your man. And it's also really interesting that the title of the song only comes up at the end of the song. So the song could be called I Hope He Buys You Flowers, or Dancing with Another Man, but no, it's When I Was Your Man, a line that only appears at the end of the song. I think we're through here. I hope you enjoyed. I had a blast with this analysis. I'm rediscovering the genius of Bruno Mars every time that I look at a song of his, and I ask myself, how can a person be as good as Bruno Mars is? And everything he touches is gold. I'm very, very humbled to be able to analyze and to worship the god that is Bruno Mars. I hope you liked the video and the analysis. I hope you also liked the attempt of covering the shit out of the song that I posted a week before. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Please make sure to like the videos, to post comments in which you can tell me how much you like the videos, or in which you can actually make song suggestions and add songs to Santa's wish list so that I can actually analyze a couple of more songs. I think we have talked song. You can talk about guitar gear and stuff now. I should have bought you flowers, held your hand, should have give you all my hours.